let's move on to our next topic then and talk a lot more on customer-centric banking propositions.
You know, our industry is an interesting industry. I've been in banking for now almost 28 years. And just a couple years ago, one of the vendors got up and showed business imperatives for this current year. And we were laughing because they were a lot of the same business imperatives we've faced for a long time. Customer centricity, can we establish multi-channel integration? We talked with some of the top banks the other day around migrating to omni-channel. And I think customer centricity is first and foremost that transition to omni-channel. What omni-channel really says is multi-channel integration and trying to take your org chart and the way you run your business and kind of accommodate the customer. That really hasn't worked tremendously well. This has put your customer in the middle of your business. Adjust things like we heard the other day. Adjust your comp plans so that people are motivated not just by the products they sell, but by customer satisfaction, overall customer wallet share, and make sure you can deliver at any given channel. That movement towards customer centricity is really, really picking up. What's interesting is as you change your business model, what we're finding from some of the top institutions we work with, they're actually reducing expense while they're improving their delivery of service.
Is that because they are able to connect different business units, or even break up their silos? Or?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of really silo busting, but I think it's an acceptance of the two key things we do in banking. There are transactions and interactions. And if you talk to consumers, the transactions, for example, direct deposit. Years ago, you had to stand in line, deposit your check. Now, direct deposit just happens. It's automatic. It's very easy. Customers don't even necessarily know about it until they check their balance. We want, as consumers, we want transactions to go that path. We want transactions to be, I think you guys coined the term frictionless. You really want it to be frictionless, and we want it going that way. That leaves interactions. Now, interactions are very interesting. The interactions have to involve levels of expertise. So we talked about high tech, high touch. Back to the point, did we use high tech to kind of push away high touch? Now the opportunity is take high tech to enable high touch. So if I'm having a conversation with you right now, right, this is face to face, and I need to bring in a tax expert, or I need a specialist who happens to be in Poland. In the old face-to-face world, I'm scheduling a meeting 3 weeks out. In the new world, I'm looking at presence, seeing that the tax expert's available, confirming his availability, getting him the information about you he needs, and he joins our conversation inside minutes. That's actually an improvement in the high touch side, yet it's using high tech. And it actually becomes more personal, even though the individuals that are servicing you aren't standing in front of you.
Yeah, it sounds like an ideal case scenario, and clearly also some of the retailers are doing this and other industries. But with banking, we've got all these backlog systems.
Yeah.
So when you say that to banks, usually the sort of general response is, but we have legacy systems in place. It's difficult. It's expensive to reconnect all of this. Are there any ways around this issue?
Well, think about it. I think we fell in love with data systems and applications to a large degree. What we're really talking about is addressing the number one expense in a bank, which is humans. So this leads to humans as a service. What you're really looking at doing is introducing technologies to identify whether a human has a certain level of expertise, what their availability is, and then dynamically making them available to your customers when the customer needs them, rather than worrying about staffing models in branches. Even a classic staffing model in a branch, we put a mortgage expert in this branch, a mortgage expert in this branch. This branch gets overwhelmed with walk-ins. This one gets none. So in a sense, and this is using a technology term, we're load balancing our people, making our people, just like we would a data center and disk and compute, we're now saying, let's load balance our people. Let's make our people best utilized. And that's the concept of humans as a service. But it starts breaking down classic organization chart models and classic compensation models, because now your people aren't getting paid for what they do in a branch or what they do in a contact center. It's what they do with the customer and how they might increase wallet share or customer satisfaction. So it's really exciting. We have institutions around the world that are really stepping into this and investing heavily because they really believe in the end what consumers want, especially in our busy lifestyle, is to kind of cut to the chase, have a quality expert who knows you based on information to them, and who can deliver a service that we need. And it's an exciting evolution because it's borderless. So that human could be where? It could be, so one of the uses is, of course, language we're actually hearing about, where you might walk into a branch and you don't speak the language. They find an expert who speaks your language, and they can interact with you, and they can actually carry that conversation and that video interaction to the home.
Can you see that happening? What with regulation coming up and other technical challenges, can you see that happening, say, in the next 5-10 years?
We're seeing it happening right now because the regulations relate a lot around data sharing and so forth. We're dealing with expertise here. So yeah, it's a great utilization, especially look at Europe and look at countries and some of the overlap that's taking place. Most of the major firms in Europe cover, 15, 20 countries easily. Now you have the ability to provide great service that you're delivering in one area to your entire region. And now there are some limitations as you cross borders, and you do need to address it. But it's really a matter of optimizing what most bankers will say their number one asset is their people. Now we're talking about putting
the human capital.
Leveraging our human capital, and it's exciting.
It's very exciting. You guys had some study out quite recently as well. Could you maybe highlight some of the key findings?
Yes, we have our Internet Business Solutions Group is a specialty group of high-end consultants that come from the top consulting firms around the world. And we developed this group over a decade ago, and they do a lot of specialized research. Because this topic is so hot, they went out and did specialized research with financial consumers. And they really focused on their interest and their willingness to interact in an omni-channel delivery environment. Well, it wasn't surprising to us how eager consumers are to have this level of service delivered to them. How actually consumers are much more accepting of, for example, a video expert than the bankers themselves. The bankers in many cases are uncomfortable. It isn't a standard process. But the consumers are just glad that when they walk in and they have a need, an expert is able to deliver that service to them. So the data showed that across Gen X, Gen Y, and Baby Boomer, there's a keen interest in omni-channel banking, and I believe they ranked it as their number one priority. They expect the bank to be secure. We all know that. Secure, safe, available, but the real interest is, can you provide me valuable advice and help me do better with how I invest my money and do better with how I spend my money? So, I mean, if we all could have that service, I think we'd sign up for it.